On 11 November 2024, Nicholas J. Fuentes, a largely far-right grifter of American politics who will say and do just about anything for a modicum of attention, and he's been successful enough to get a Wikipedia page, God bless, got a visit from a 51-year-old feminist Chicagoan crone named Marla Rose. You see, after President Trump won the election a few days earlier, Fuentes successfully rode those coattails to virality by tweeting on X, "Your body, my choice. Forever." Is this guy controlled opposition or what? An altercation that saw police called to the scene occurred after Mrs. Rose rang Mr. Fuentes' doorbell unsolicited, to which Mr. Fuentes allegedly responded by immediately macing her, pushing her down his porch, and stealing her phone. I'd like to read the diatribe Mrs. Rose publicly posted on Facebook against Mr. Fuentes with you and give you my thoughts on the situation. She writes, "Okay, so what would you do if a neo-Nazi white supremacist who called on a holy war against Jews and is a loud, proud misogynist lives in your town, you are a Jewish feminist, and you know his address?" I don't understand why Jews is censored, but Jewish isn't, but whatever. Further, what would you do if friend after friend messaged you with his address and told you that you should pop over since you live in the same town and report what it looks like from outside his home at... She writes his full address, but I have to censor it out to conform with YouTube privacy policy. Are there boxes potentially possessing dog poo? Are there boxes potentially possessing used menstrual products? What would you do if it's a Sunday and you've done your work for the day? Pop over there, you would. You're a good friend. You're curious as well. Mrs. Rose is trying really hard to get ahead of the argument her opposition will make that she was the instigator. It belies her own shame, unfortunately, and it's a little annoying. So that is what I did. I shot a short video, less than 2 minutes, from the public property of the sidewalk outside this address, noting that there were no boxes. As I did, a woman pulled up in her car, rolled down her window, and was like, "Is this where the douchebag lives?" Paraphrasing. And I was like, "I think so." And we laughed about his incel ass for a minute. Then she was like, "You should ring his doorbell and see what he has to say for himself." Again, paraphrasing. And I have one serious weakness. It's chocolate. Okay, I have two, one more relevant for the situation. I cannot back down from anything that even smacks of a dare. So I figured, shrug emoji. There were no solicitor signs up, and believe it or not, I would have respected that. Well, I don't believe it as a miscreant myself, but I must pause for a longer period here to point out that this is actually significant, and it's surprising that a self-proclaimed genius like Fuentes doesn't seem to know it. Illinois law as it pertains to the situation states that any occupants of a residence or commercial building may give notice of a desire to refuse solicitors by displaying a no solicitation or no trespassing or similar sign. The display of such sign shall be deemed to constitute notice to any solicitor that the inhabitant of the residence or commercial building does not desire to receive and/or does not invite solicitors. The same section also makes it illegal to disregard a notice and solicit anyway. Point is, a simple sign in the window would have made it unquestionably illegal for Mrs. Rose or any other private person to ring Mr. Fuentes' doorbell. Not having one, he gives her and any other unwanted visitors plenty of legal ground to stand on. Continuing, so I rang the doorbell. He immediately swung the door open like he was at damn Waco, sprayed me with a burning liquid, pepper spray, mace, and pushed me down the stairs onto his sidewalk. I rolled into a protective position because I was anticipating kicks or stomps. He grabbed my phone, ran back inside, bolted the door, and shut the blinds. Friends, it is dark in there, like a bunker. I have video. I am holding on to that for evidence. I do wish she would just post it. It wouldn't compromise anything to do so. One can only surmise that she doesn't post it because it either makes her look worse than her post does, or she's cleverly holding out to figure out how to monetize its release. I'm presuming both. The woman in the car, probably feeling shitty for encouraging me to do it, called the cops and made a report. She begged me to get in the car with her because she was scared for my safety, but I wasn't going anywhere. Thanks, mysterious friend, for calling the cops because I obviously did not have a phone. We should get tea and talk about old times. You are also my main witness. Anyway, I gave my full statement to the cop. Fuentes gave one separately and gave no comment as his statement, and the cop called an ambulance to check my eyes after being sprayed. The cop gave me my phone back, which may be damaged after the incel stomped it like Rumpelstiltskin, which is why the pictures are pictures my husband took from my phone, as it's no longer operational. May be damaged, but no longer operational. Odd choice of language. The nice EMTs took my vitals in the ambulance, too. I'm a little sore on my right side, where I fell, but I'm fine. Nikki, your little spray is as weak as you are. I hate to tell you to invest in a new brand, but I didn't even need eyewash. Anyway, the cop, the EMTs, and my husband all asked, "Why did you ring the doorbell?" kind of incredulously. I don't know, why not? Again, no soliciting sign, and I was showing off for my new friend. Also, I think threatening women and girls everywhere deserves some kind of an explanation. I want to make it very clear that I am not whining about being pushed down the steps and pepper sprayed by a 26-year-old, who then took possession of and possibly broke my phone. Again, I don't know why she's using the word possibly when she's already affirmed that it's no longer operational, but whatever. I'm 57 years old and 5'1", so it's kind of funny that he's having he's have this melodramatic reaction to me, but here we are. I guess them's are the breaks when you're despised by about half the country and millions overseas as well. I'd be touchy as well, but then again, I'm not making rape jokes or demeaning bodily autonomy. I don't know if he's done this to others or I was a tipping point, but Fuentes is a little on edge. So if you wanted to send Nikki a care package but were concerned you might not have the correct address, this is all to say it is confirmed, she doxes him again, is the correct address, and then she puts a poop emoji and a blood emoji, referring to the dog poop and menstrual blood she mentioned earlier. Asterisk, I have forgiven my husband, he made me a nice vegan hot chocolate with mini marshmallows, how lovely. P.S. Fuentes is a very frightened widow man. This is that typical feminist talking like a child condescending thing that they really don't realize just makes themselves look more insufferable. Don't ring the doorbell, he's a little on edge, go figure. P.P.S. Should I file a police report? Yes, I rang his doorbell, did not hop a fence or anything, but does that merit assault and property damage? P.P.P.S. Yes, I know the pictures are blurry, believe me or don't believe me. They are pictures my husband took with his phone camera off my phone because there was no way of sending them otherwise. So presumably he took pictures of her phone with his phone. P.P.P.S. Please stop telling me to stop by Nick Fuentes' home at, and then she doxes him a third time. It makes him feel unsafe when people pop over. Imagine being a proud internet troll and being this scared. Yep, they're all like that. Hell of a story. I'd like to give advice to both parties, starting with Mrs. Rose because she asked. 1. No, you shouldn't file a police report, because it would be antithetical to your own worldview. I'm being slightly facetious, but mostly serious. As someone who has made being far left her identity, which includes calls to defund the police when they're in vogue, it would make you a hypocrite, no? All cops are bastards, as you would say. More seriously, your Facebook post is more damning than your encounter itself to any case you think you might have. You bring up feces and menstrual blood multiple times. At first one might assume it's simply a fetish, but you not so slyly encourage vandalizing his home by leaving those presents there when you use those emojis right after reiterating his dox. Any reasonable court of law would see it that way. 2. You should make a social media account so you can release a video. I'd actually recommend TikTok for you, where it's easier to get monetized and the algorithm will favor content like yours in general. Glory to the CCP. 3. You're 51. You're not a spring chicken. You got a family. I think it's unwise for you to seek confrontation with those half your age. You're too old and have too much agency to make the "my friend told me to do it" argument. I also think you largely did this because you needed an outlet for your frustration at the recent election. I highly recommend you lean into therapy and your loved ones instead. Be glad it was just mace or pepper spray this time, and please take care of yourself. I'm being sincere. Now advice to Nick Fuentes. 1. You should put a no soliciting sign on your door. We've already covered this. 2. You should put a flag of Palestine on your window. All of a sudden, all your worldviews, including any on the rights of women, will be irreproachable to the likes of Mrs. Rose. It's crazy, but true. 3. You should move. Congratulations, you've been very successful at your grift. You've been a personal advisor to Kanye West and gotten a private dinner with the president-elect. You got the money. Now you need to use it on your own security, because you've created incentive to harry you for social media clout, a de facto bounty on your head. Move out of Illinois. It has castle doctrine, sure, but that means little in a state with so much gun control. Go somewhere deep red, get yourself into a gated community, or just buy a gated property outright. Maybe you and Catboy Cammy can get together with Keffels and start a ranch. Now I just want to leave with a funny parting observation. Just 6 days before Rose had her entanglement with Fuentes, she was openly praising the guy on Facebook. You see, for the months preceding Election Day, Fuentes was getting his attention by posting anti-Trump discourse. In that case, news outlets echoed his declaiming of Trump's support as a cult. The moment Trump won, he tried to flip, and that's where his viral tweet on abortion being your body, his choice came from. Which is ironic because Trump is, in his most boiled down form, pro-choice. But that irony is just another fold to Fuentes' game. He's outrage farming, and he couldn't be more delighted to have this attention on him. I'm not gonna lie though, probably the most satisfying thing to come from this altercation is a confirmation that Fuentes isn't a federal agent, because Rose would have been domed on sight. He actually does do all of this stupidity of his own volition. I think Josh Connor Moon owes someone some money on that one. And last and least, this altercation has caused an unconfirmed story of Fuentes defecating his pants in high school to go viral. With all this talk of feces and menstrual blood, there's a bussy joke to be made here somewhere.